This bad boy right here, this is a buttermilk brined turkey breast, bone in, skin on, going into the oven, 325 for about an hour, hour and 15 minutes. I cooked this turkey off, little bit underdone, let it cool, sliced it, now throw it on the grill to get some really, get a little char on it, a little more texture. Look at those. There's just something about roasting it, then grilling it, and that's gonna come together. This is kind of like the California version of the great Louisiana po' boy. Here we go. Oh. The remoulade is so nice. I mean, we're talking about if you're gonna put mayonnaise on there, you know I call mayonnaise food lube all the time. You're gonna put some food lube, fortify it, really give it some flavor. Let's get some pepperoncinis. Again, some tomatoes. What a crowd pleaser this is gonna be. Where's my top? There's my top, okay. Get that lettuce right on top of there. And then some of the grilled turkey. Look at those big, juicy pieces. And I'm telling you, the buttermilk that this was marinated in, okay, when it got to do that buttermilk brine, stacked across the top, over. Should be wrapping that in some wax paper right now, some butcher paper. Look at that. Does that look great or what? Ready? Outstanding. Huge bite. I mean, I say big bite. That was a big one. So Hunter's working on some parsley right now, and I'm busting out a little bit of basil. I just knocked out some oregano. And what we've got going here, well, some cooled down veggies going for some meatballs for the Hunter's hero. Now, what he did earlier, Hunter took the inside of the sourdough bread, soaked it in some milk. Now I want you to squeeze them, get the milk out of it. They'll still hold on to a little bit of milk.
Like a
and put those into there, okay? All right, I'll hold these herbs here because these are gonna be going in with this mixture. Okay, now I'm gonna put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and I'm gonna add these veggies, which I also put a little salt and pepper into, but I'm gonna put these veggies down. Now we've got some garlic in here, red bell pepper, and some red onion. Point, hit it. No shell. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Okay, so we've got the veggies in there. Let me get a little bit of Parmesan. Hunter, go ahead and crack open that ground beef and Italian sausage. Now, the bulk Italian sausage and the ground beef, well, you get some different texture, some different flavor. My idea with the ground beef, I think the fat really helps it out, but you can't beat Italian sausage when you're talking about meatballs, okay? Got it? Throw it right in. Okay, right in on top. I've got Parmesan cheese, red onions, red bell pepper, garlic, everybody in here. Little parsley, little oregano, and then I've got some sourdough bread that's soaked in some milk. Now, how's that look? Okay. Now I want you to grab about a handful, about that big.
Okay, and stick it in the pan?
Not pressing it too hard. You press it too hard when they cook, you'll cook the fat right out.
Okay.
So there we go. Let me crank up my heat. It's already got some fat in here. I might need to add a little bit more. Now what we've got here is some meatballs that have some pork and some ground beef. Hunter helped chop it all up and mix it together. We got some breadcrumbs, or actually some sourdough bread that was soaked in milk to really put in some nice moisture. So far, so good?
Yeah.
Prime time. Okay, let's lay some cheese down. And what we're gonna do, we kind of canoed out these hoagie rolls. And what I mean by canoeing them out is cut them down the center and took the bread out. I don't need any extra bread. I don't know about you. But we canoed them out and then lay the meatballs right down inside, hit them with a little cheese on top, a little sliced mozzarella. Okay. Now, let me pop these under the broiler just for a couple minutes to brown this cheese up because the meatballs are already done. Actually, you know what? I'm a little scared. I'll go down low, but set it up high. Tell me those aren't the bad boys right there.
Oh.
Which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo? This one?
I'll take this one.
This one or that one?
This one.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one I made.
Now watch yourself, boo. These are going to be super duper hot, okay? Throw yours on your plate right there. Can you get a bite on that?
I don't think right now.
No? You think it's too hot? Bite it on the bottom, not where the cheese is.
Okay.
Like this. Mmm. My little sister Morgan, who I love so much, taught me to appreciate the vegetarian side of things. To understand that, well, there's a lot of big flavor and there's some delicious sandwiches and they don't have to have meat. And that's what we're making today. We're making a fried oyster mushroom burger. You're gonna love it. I know you're shaking your head right now saying, come on, guy, I want some tacos, I want some pizza, I want a big pastrami sandwich, I want that burger that you always do at Guy's Burger Joint. Trust me, once you try this, once you get a bite of this, it's gonna change your game. Let's start things up. I'll grab this. I always wreck the cookie drying racks. I'm gonna take these scallions and I'm gonna make this charred scallion mayo. Now, I had a version of this fried mushroom sandwich on a Triple D joint down in San Diego, and I'm gonna tell you what, I don't think I'll ever be able to do as good as they did. You got my favorite things going on here. You got the acid, you got the salt, and you got the heat. I would eat one of those every day. This is kind of my interpretation, okay? So we'll throw this down, char up these scallions. While that's working, we have a little donkey sauce. Of course, in the Fieri house, we always have donkey sauce. And this is simply just some mayonnaise, some garlic, some Worcestershire, black pepper, and a little bit of mustard. You can't beat it. So we'll char these real quick. There we go, that's hot. While that's working, I've got oil coming up. My oil is screaming hot right now. It's at 400 plus, and I'm gonna be frying, so I want that at what temperature at home? Exactly, 350 degrees. I'm gonna take this a little bit higher because these mushrooms are gonna be kind of thin and they're gonna go off really fast. I wanna put a really nice hard crunch on them, but typically 350 would be where we'd wanna be. Scallions, nice and hot, great flavor. Into the donkey sauce, give it a little stir. That's the beginning. Okay, Fresno chili, nice and thin. If you can't get them thin enough like this, go ahead and get the mandolin out. Nice thin Fresno chili. We'll get a little cabbage. Again, another great time to have the mandolin. This is gonna be a nice, light, crunchy slaw that's gonna go right on top of this. Okay, a little purple cabbage. If you're not gonna use all the cabbage, don't cut it all up. Just gonna sit there and dry out in your fridge. Okay, all that's done. Into a bowl, we'll get a little rice vinegar, seasoned rice vinegar, a little mustard. You got all these ingredients, right? This is simple. I mean, this is about, and if you don't have the seasoned rice vinegar, use apple cider vinegar. Touch of some salt, a little cracked black pepper, a little olive oil. You know what I'm gonna do? A little garlic. See how I'm improvising? That's the beauty about this dish. You can make this your flavor, your style. I'm taking it a little bit into the Asian element right now, but if you want to throw barbecue sauce on this, you could. Drop in the cabbages, the Fresno chili, great color in that. Throw a little bit of the scallion. Boom. Give this a mix. Okay? Now the mushrooms, if I have my choice, it's gonna be what's the freshest mushroom and what looks the best. We have these beautiful oyster mushrooms. Now you can see how they've grown, okay? We're gonna take this bottom off here, and they're probably gonna start to come apart on us a little bit. That's fine. We're gonna take them and pull them apart a bit and dredge them in some flour. Come on over. You with me? I take the bling off. I'll be washing this for a week. AP flour, rice flour. Very simple. Just gonna take the mushrooms, break them into a couple pieces, give them a little dredge just so some flour will stick to their natural moisture that they have. A little bit more. Now, I gotta grab a couple eggs. We're gonna make a tempura flour, real quick and easy tempura flour right here. So the shell's not supposed to go in there. There's two, but this is where we're really gonna change everything, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna take this ice and this seltzer, and this is what's gonna create the nice light airiness. One, the cold, and two, the carbonation, okay? So these are cold, but I'm also gonna add them to the ice. So first we'll mix up the eggs into the flour. Now we'll come over here with just a little bit of the seltzer water. Start to see that batter forming up. I'm using this baking dish because it'll keep the temperature without letting this get too hot. Matter of fact, if you can start off with it cold. The whole key to this is to making this tempura is to really make sure that this batter stays cold. If you don't want to use the egg, you don't have to. The main principle of the egg is for some really nice color. And I just keep adding it as I need it. I didn't do real set measurements. A little bit lumpy like pancake batter. And like I said, super, super cold. And if you keep this cold, like if you want to do multiple batches of this, you throw it back in the freezer, you're gonna be real happy. It's that reaction that happens from going to super, super cold, bound to the mushrooms, to going into the hot oil that's gonna create that expansion. See how excited I got about that? Looking for it to be just about like pancake batter. Okay? Fantastic. Let's come over here, get all this frying going at one time. I'm making such a mess. All right, over we go. Drop the mushrooms in. We're still screaming too hot. Hang on a second. This is where we'll make the big mistake. If we don't get this temperature correct, we're just gonna send ourselves into frying the outside of it and being raw in the center. So the best way to do this is to add a little more oil. There we go. You see it start to drop right there? Awesome. We're right about 375. Bring them right over. Give them a little shake, making sure we don't put too much batter in. And we drop them right in. Now, maitake mushrooms are awesome for this. Whatever your favorite mushroom is. Oh, this is gonna be dynamite. And this with the cold, crunchy slaw and a little bit of that roasted scallion donkey sauce. Make sure I didn't leave anybody behind. Okay. This is super critical. Nice spider. Oh, look at this. Nice, big, crunchy puff. You see the puff going on with that? That's because of the cold. That's because of the carbonation. While that goes, get a little garlic butter. I believe that whenever we're using bread, and again, we don't get to eat it as often as we love to, make sure you're using something really good and also treat it. I think that just giving it a little bit of, giving it a little appreciation of putting a little garlic butter on this, giving it a little toast, building some of that flavor, building some of that texture. Okay. Go down with those two. Mushrooms are almost done, and you can already see how it's puffing up so nice. And if you don't want the bun, just this with some slaw on, it's gonna be done. A nice meaty mushroom. Going on a little bit of tang of the acid that we have in there from that seasoned vinegar from the slaw. Ciabatta has toasted off nicely. I like to get both sides of it. One of the things about when we're cooking is having the setup. Being ready ahead of time for what you need, when you're gonna need it, keeps you from running around trying to find something and coming back and it's burnt. Look at these beautiful mushrooms. Nice, light, crispy. Let these cool down just a touch. Excellent, okay? Get in a little bit of that scallion donkey sauce or the scallion mayo. Touch on top. And again, you don't want to do this. You don't want to get into the mayo. You can make a vegan mayo. I've had some fantastic vegan mayos. We're out there, Triple D. I'm finding all these great vegan restaurants that are coming up. Give that a shot. I mean, if you really want to take it hardcore like that, you totally can. Then we'll grab some of the slaw. Wrong side. There we go. Oh, yeah. Just gonna give that fry just a little touch of some salt. Fried food loves its salt. A little lemon juice, just a little kiss, little acid to that fry. Oh, yeah. I've been dying to make this for you. You want to make this. You know you do. So simple, so easy, so straightforward. Besides the frying part of me, I guess you could roast the mushrooms, but come on, once in a while we can indulge. Your favorite mushroom, tempura battered, Asian slaw, a garlic butter ciabatta, all put together with a little roasted scallion aioli? Come on. It's crunchy, it's salty, it's got great acidity, it's rich with the scallion mayo, it's meaty, it's definitely meaty. When you try this at home, don't tell your friends that it's mushroom. Don't make a big deal about it. Just say, hey, made this sandwich. What is it? Is it chicken? As far as you know. Let them get into it. I promise you, they take a bite of that, they're never gonna know that it's mushroom. You're gonna love this recipe. Download it now. See you guys next week. Adios. And let's fire this pan up. I'm gonna get the pan started, and we're gonna do it. We're doing a white onion with a little bit of margarine. Okay, there we go. Now, where's my margarine? There we go. Make sure that I don't have too much heat going on this thing because that margarine will go real fast. No, we're fine. All right, there we go. I'm gonna get these onions in, get them down, let those start working. I'm gonna hit some spices into it. A little paprika, a couple tablespoons of that. I'm gonna get it in now so I can make sure I can get it evenly mixed all the way around. Okay. A couple tablespoons of that. Some chili powder. Funny thing, chili powder, it's not just chili. There's all kinds of different ingredients in it. Cumin's in it, ground chili, coriander, clove, all in there. So a couple tablespoons of that also. Okay. And then a little allspice, which is not a bunch of different spices. It's actually a berry, but it tastes like the coriander, nutmeg, cinnamon. Just half a teaspoon on this. You can see I have that great measuring technique with just shaking it in there. But kind of, you get your own feel for how it works. And a little bit of curry. Okay, so that all mixes together. And now I got some ground beef, some 80-20 ground beef. You know what? 80-20 means 80% meat, 20% fat. Okay, we get that in. All right, now, if you'll notice, when I put this meat in, it didn't start to sizzle like it's all hot because I'm just really slowly cooking this. I've got to add a little bit of water to it. Helps break it down a little bit, helps with the texture and the consistency. And wow, you should smell all those spices coming out. Outstanding, and I give it a little bit more heat because now the water's gonna kind of keep it from browning and it's gonna help kind of stew it and kind of steam it down. So let me get some dry mustard in here. Just a touch. Putting this in now because I wanna let this flavor stand out a little bit more. So about a teaspoon of that and some cinnamon too. Okay. Look at those. Nice skinny hot dogs. This works great so you don't have too much dog going on and too much bun and don't get to try a chance to try the sauce. Cut those bad boys open. Nice rolling, simmering boil water. Hot going down. Little rack on top. Now here's one of the keys to this is we want to make sure that these buns get a chance to steam. Not going to put them in the oven and let them get all crispy. These we want to actually sit here and steam. So the small Wieners go with the small buns. I'm doing it all right. Get these loaded up. We've got allspice in here, paprika, chili powder, mustard, cinnamon, all going on. Some chopped onions. Now these are really finely chopped. There we go. And then we're gonna hit it with a little mustard, a little bit of celery salt, okay? Make sure the top's on, because I've had it dump all over. All right, so we go a little bit on there, just shake a little bit on, and this is how it's done. But this is gonna tell the tape right here. Hit your number in Vegas and one of my boys is gonna yell, "Winner, winner, chicken dinner." Well, I've got your winner today, chicken patty burgers. Now, wait a second, when did chicken burgers become cool? Oh yeah, right now. You get the taste of that two-handed monster you love from the drive-in, but it's gonna be healthy at the same time. Red onions, black olives, jalapenos, garlic, paprika, even some artichoke, all tossed into this burger. Now, key items to this. One, we gotta do a lot of fine dice. Yeah, you could bring in a mandolin or you could bring in a little chopper, or if you have like all my buddies at my house and have them do all the prep work, that's even nice. Sharp knife's gonna be key. Red bell pepper, red onion, jalapeno. I've got some garlic. These are all my key ingredients. Let me get this pan heated up. Now, I made this patty thinking about the healthier sides, eating a big burger, but you know what? So many times it's all about the beef chicken. It seems to be a little bit healthier. I mean, it's really kind of the chicken movement these days, and I've had chicken patties and they've been dried out. I think you're gonna be happy with how juicy. Look at all the veggies going in this. It's gonna be tight. Let me get these started. A lot of choppy chop, I know, but I tell you something, it's so worth it. Look at the flavors going in there. The artichoke hearts, the garlic, the peppers, the onions, you're gonna love it. A little extra virgin olive oil. I'm gonna get some heat up on this pan. Now, I don't really want to caramelize these vegetables. I want to kind of let them sit there and sweat out a little bit. I want the flavor. I want them to be tender. Still want to see their color. There we go. That's the sound I love. Actually, make this easy. Back. And everybody in the pool. There we go. Now, not going to put real big heat on this. Throw just a little bit of a toss. Look at the colors. Look at the medley right there. I mean, this could almost go into a veggie patty right there, but that's a different show. Okay? Hit a little black pepper. There we go. One of the most key items you can have in your kitchen, a pepper grinder. I have one with the black pepper and one with the white pepper. Very key. And a little bit of salt. That'll help sweat them out a bit. Okay. Chicken doesn't always get that respect, you know? It does in the chicken breast or barbecue chicken, but how do you make a patty and not dry it out? All these veggies, which I've sauteed here and let cool down, this is all gonna be big flavor. There we go. So about 1.5 pounds of chicken goes in there. 1 egg. This will work as part of the binder. Add some moisture also into it. There we go. We're gonna get these veggies that I've cooled down. Now, what have I got here? I got some red bell pepper, some red onion, some garlic, some olives, and believe it or not, artichoke hearts. Okay, and there's just a little bit of jalapeno that I took the seeds and the ribs out of. I want that jalapeno flavor, but I don't want too much big bite going into this. Okay. There we go. Now let's put some of the supporting characters in there, a little bit of salt, cracked black pepper, and let's do this dance. Little ground sage, kind of chicken's best friend. We'll put just a little shake, about a 1/4 teaspoon in there. A little cumin for that nice smoky flavor. People think cumin could just go in, like, you know, you find it a lot of time in Mexican food, but it really is, translates into all different types of ethnic foods. Red pepper flake, again, can be big heat, but since we're gonna let this mix together and set a bit, it's not gonna be these little nuggets of fire. So we'll just give a touch of those. There we go. Celery salt, chicken salad sandwiches, celery, come on, hand in hand. There we go. A little chili powder. Get my chili powder and my paprika messed up, I got a concern. Here it is, Hungarian paprika. This is the hot one, not super hot, but it's got a little bit more than that smoky. Actually, that might be hot. And a little bit of oregano. Okay. Now I'm gonna mix this thoroughly. Okay, get that together. Oh, I gotta get this is the best buddy right here. These are the breadcrumbs. Seasoned or not seasoned, that's kind of your choice. If you can make your own, I love to make them out of sourdough, works dynamite. Okay, so the egg works as the binder, the parsley, nice, bright, fresh flavor. The breadcrumbs work as a binder, and then these veggies, well, that's just the flavor super kicker. Mix that all together like that. Now, this is kind of a neat technique about working with chicken and making this patty. You grab one of these, you buy them, you know, you get olives at the store. You have these containers kind of laying around. Before you throw them away next time, take this, throw some plastic wrap on top, kind of divide your chicken mixture here into quarters, and throw that chicken mixture right in the center, like that. Fold it over. There, give it a little press around the sides. Take a look at that. Your chicken patty's already done and made for you. There's one, I gotta knock out the rest. This is gonna be my chicken patties. Now, some chicken patties have been doing time here in the fridge. So what is the chicken patty? Well, it's got practically the whole garden of vegetables in there, some thigh meat and some breast meat. So it's got the big flavor as well as the healthy side of things. That's gonna go in, gonna make a dollop there in a second, but let's look at these patties. Pan's nice and hot. A little bit of olive oil. There we go. Now, the chicken patties have a tendency to fall apart a little bit, but I did put some binder in there. I got some breadcrumbs, some eggs, again, all those fresh veggies, a little bit of Hungarian paprika, a little bit of heat there. So I'll unfold these. If I don't want to use them all, I can freeze them right there in the plastic wrap. And let's see here. I try to keep the plastic from getting in the pan. Oh, nice sizzle. There's one down. And these needed some time to let the flavors get together as well as set up. If I don't mess with the patties too much, they won't sit there and start to break apart. But this is kind of a mixture that you find in Asian food, Italian food. This, I'm trying to make it kind of like the all-American big burger food. About a 6-ounce patty, little olives in there, you can see. I was quick to the handle on that one. I can already smell the big flavor coming out of it. There we go. All kinds of veggies, garlic, peppers. Everybody's worked into that. Bound it together with a little bit of egg and some breadcrumbs. Tons of seasonings. Hungarian paprika. Let's go with a little ketchup and mustard. I like that. That's a big bite tomato. And pop some lettuce on there. Pimento cheese-stuffed burger on a toasted brioche bun, stacked high with a fried heirloom tomato, homemade ranch dressing, crispy bacon, and a cabbage slaw. The key to great pimento cheese is starting off with great cheese. So I've got some cheddar here, about half and half, the white and yellow cheddar. Looks good. Now we'll get in with the pimentos. Now, you can make your own pimentos, you can buy your pimentos, you can add as many as you want. I'm gonna go with maybe a half a cup. Touch of some salt. Pepper, a little bit of cayenne. Again, this is kind of where you want to go with it. Cream cheese, a little mayo, and a little Dijon. It's just going to pulse it, bring it together, scooping this out, just getting a roll on it, give it a little twist, right like that, voila, okay? Take this, lay it down in the fridge. Little dill. Let's get into this. Little buttermilk. Some sour cream. Little mayo. Now, before I bring in the spices, let me grab a little bit of sugar. Gotta have a little bit of that sweet. Okay, offsetting some of the big spices that are coming in right now. Okay, let's start off with a little garlic. Little onion powder. And some smoked paprika. Let me get a touch of some salt and some black pepper. Now, a little cayenne, just a touch of heat. There we go, okay? Now this is the real kicker. This is what makes everything that you love about ranch dressing really comes from this, and that's the dill. About 3 tablespoons. There we go. Give it a little whisk. That's exactly what we're looking for. Seeing that nice, beautiful green just studded throughout that. All right, let me cover this up real quick. There we go. Okay, this goes down in the fridge. So here's the next piece. We're gonna talk about green tomatoes, fried green tomatoes. It's something you see in the South everywhere you go, but I couldn't find any green ones. So, well, I just went with a really nice, firm heirloom tomato. But nonetheless, it's gonna be fantastic. So putting it into a dredge here, first start off with a little flour with a little granulated garlic, then went into a little buttermilk and egg with a little salt and pepper, and then some fine cornmeal here with a little salt and pepper. Set this aside, just gonna get that down, unwrap it. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna make 4 burgers, but 8 patties. So the first thing I'm gonna do is cut that in half. Dividing that equally into 4, okay? Now I'll just divide this one, that one. Now everybody's got kind of an equal amount, right? Here's what we do. Take the patty, not pressing it too hard. Nice patty, firm edges. Doing this ahead of time. See this little move that I'm doing here with my thumb? Check this out. So I take the patty and then I'm bringing my thumb in to really establish the edge. So I'm not having this little flimsy edge where it's kind of just tapering off, and those are the ones when you cook them and they just kind of end up falling into the fire. Okay, here we go. So there's one done. Here we go, we'll grab some of the pimento cheese, drop it right in the center. Now, bring in the other one over, right on top, mirroring it. Gonna give it a little pinch, bring in the meat together, and then back to that same little technique that I just did, where I'm gonna come and establish the edge again. So really brought them together, really formed them together, kind of pushed it, and then straight across. It's even in the middle. Drop the burger. Now, normally when you've seen Guy's Big Bite, I'm Pressin Burgers. You go to Guy's Burger Joint on Carnival Cruise Line, I'm Pressin Burgers. You go to Guy's Vegas, I'm Pressin Burgers. But when it comes to a stuffed burger, we're gonna treat it nice and delicate so we don't break it open, so we don't lose all the surprise inside. Not overcrowding it. 4 would be the max I'd wanna do. Simply just a little bit of salt. And then when I flip it, I'll season the other side. Now we'll go ahead. There we go, those are the bubbles that I'm looking for. Again, don't crowd it. You're gonna drop that oil temperature. Now we're gonna talk about the buns. Nice brioche bun. Everybody's so conscious about eating all those carbs and eating the bread and so forth. I'll tell you what, when you're gonna do it right. Now I've got some roasted garlic butter here. Just gonna brush that on. Now let's talk about bacon. So here's the method. Take the bacon and just shingle it a little bit, okay? And we're gonna go from a cold pan, cold bacon, throw it in the oven, and we're gonna get those nice, uniform, evenly cooked pieces of bacon that we love that we find in restaurants. Okay, so this goes, lay it down. So here's the game plan. Take this, pop it in the oven, should be about 350. It'll give us beautiful bacon. And this, just as a little homage to my mom in North Carolina, that's where she was raised. Make a quick little slaw here, some nice vinegar. Just wilt this thinly sliced cabbage down. If I tried to sit here and cook this on the stovetop, by the time I cooked all the way through, I would have a 1/4 inch on both sides of just crunchy beef. The idea to cook it all the way through to really get that great flavor, we want to go ahead and finish it in the oven. So I finished it in the wood fire oven, finish it in your oven at 350. Either way, you're good to go. So we'll build a burger, little thin sliced onion on the bottom. Now, it's leaking a little bit of the pimento cheese. Fantastic, it shows you it's done. But this looks like mine right here. Lay that up on top. A little unripe heirloom tomatoes, that goes on top. Let's get some of the ranch dressing on top of that. Nice pieces of bacon, we'll throw that up on top. A little bit of that quick pickled slaw that I did. Look at that thing, huh? All right, let's cut into this thing and take a look at it. Nice brioche bun, going right through. Tell me that's not the cover of a magazine. Here we go. There's so many textures, so much flavor. Southwest lobster rolls. We're talking grilled tail meat and creamy cilantro lime slaw packed into garlicky toasted buns. A new take on an old Northeast classic. Drop half the butter in each of these. We're gonna make a compound. We're actually gonna make a garlic butter to go with the rolls for these lobster rolls. And we're also gonna make a basting butter that we're gonna put on there with a little habanero. I've got some garlic here. Nice. Give me a little zest of that lime. We'll get some capers in here as well.
Go there, go there.
Thank you. We're gonna hit some of the lime juice into it. Watch out, coming over, dropping some shallots in. I wanna drop this parsley over to you here, and that's gonna be for that butter. Turn that heat down a little bit. I'm gonna drop this habanero. It's an essence. I just let it steep in the butter and in the white wine, and that really just let it come out a little bit. You knew it was there, but it didn't burn you. So you see how this is all coming together?
Yes,
so
sir.
we got the garlic, we got the shallots, we got the habanero, we got the capers. We got to turn that one down because it's going to start to burn. That's going to go together. We're going to grill some lobster tails. In this lobster tail, I want you to go right here at the center.
Yep.
Push through.
Yep.
Down. Now, the younger the lobster, or actually, if it's molted, if it's lobster, it's going to have a little thinner shell. Sometimes you'll get into them and you'll be pushing down on them. You're like, there's no way I'm getting through it.
Right.
So go ahead and crack them all the way through. Cut them in half. Okay. While he does that, I got a little
All the way
garlic
through,
butter.
I mean, completely.
Yeah, back to where I was, right in the
And then right there, boom,
Okay,
and then
now, as he does that, I am actually going to leave. No, I'm sorry.
See you later. Let's go ahead, don't worry.
No, you got to go all the way through. Okay, you good?
Good. Tell me to put them in half.
Now here's what I want to do.
What do you
Throw them on here,
Okay.
and grab yourself a spoon and drizzle a little bit of the habanero butter on it. I'll switch sides with you.
Gotcha.
Because I'm going to pull the yuca out. There you go, big spoon. Drizzle some of the habanero butter right on top. The texture and the sweet aspect of lobster is really what makes it so great. So now you can take it spicy, and you can take it Asian. It can be Italian. It can be subtle. It can be cold. It can be hot. You know, it goes anywhere. So these go down right here, Joey. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start them in the shell, get a little sear on them, flip them over, mark them off, continue to baste them. And the last thing we gotta work on before we put this all together, let's talk about rolls. Okay, so take a look at this, brother. And here's what we'll do, we'll start them right here.
Lobster roll.
I'm gonna let you work on this. Okay. So we take knife. We're gonna do it just like they do in New
Right
England.
center. Yep.
Gonna cut it right down the center like this.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Spin them open.
Open it just a little bit. Hit in just a touch of that garlic butter right on like that. And throw it on the grill.
It's like magic.
You see the magic? All right, so what do we have for you? Some fantastic lobster that's been grilled, basted with a little bit of a habanero butter. Then we've got some toasted rolls over here with a little garlic butter onto those. This beautiful lobster, cooked in the shell over hardwood. And this is really not gonna look right, but here, I'm gonna let you try this right here. Oh, good, thank you. I thought you were gonna make me feed you. Huh? Okay. You got that? Bring it over here. Let's do this. Tag team, throw a little avocado right on there.
Slither in there?
Just 2 pieces. So we hit a little garlic butter on top of this.
Right.
Excellent. Now we're gonna go, Joey, there's some more of that. Now we'll throw some of the lobster meat in there.
And throw that little juice in there. Yeah.
I got this.
You got it.
Okay. Throw a little bit of that on top.
See, what I like about this, you bring your own flavor to it, no pun intended, but it's got the heat. And that's what I like. I like heat. I do. And a lot of
Lobster
stuff that
rolls
you
can
do,
get a little bit
yeah.
boring.
So when you put the heat on it, it's
Absolutely. Hit me with a little bit more. We'll
more
get some tomato, some avocado right here.
You got it.
Okay. This one. You know, when you get a little bit of that bite, you taste that habanero,
That's
but
what
it's
I
not too
love.
overpowering.
Love it.
Okay, let me throw one on there for you. I got a cold beer right here.
This is a lobster roll right here. Lobster. Right?
There you go. 1, 2, 3.
All right. That right there is a kick lobster roll.
Did you just edited your own comment?
I did.
So here's the deal. Hanging out in the backyard, cooking with your friends, especially your famous friend from NSYNC, Joey Patone, my brother. You killed it on Rachel vs. Guy Celebrity. You rocked the kitchen tonight. Next time you come back, you set the menu, and we'll go from there, okay?
Yeah.
Today you get to learn about my signature cheeseburger. You ready? Now, it's just because we're hanging and we're cool that I'm gonna teach you this. You should do me a favor. Don't go telling everybody about it. Just keep it on the DL. First thing we're gonna start off with is, wait for it, donkey sauce. Yes, the infamous donkey sauce. You wanna know how it came about? I was getting ready to make these burgers for some friends of ours. We were putting this burger concept together, and they said, why do you call it donkey sauce? And I said, because if you don't try it, well, you're just a jackass. But thank you very much. That's that's the real name. I'm not kidding you. So here's how we're gonna start it off. First, just a little bit of mayonnaise, some roasted garlic, yellow mustard. I know, you're seeing it all. A little Worcestershire sauce, touch of some salt, cracked black pepper, so everything you love about mayonnaise, the fat, the creaminess, the saltiness, all we did was amp it up and take the flavor another level. That's donkey sauce. All right, donkey sauce is done. What do we need next? The SMC, the super melted cheese. You gotta promise you're not gonna show anybody this. Now, in this pot, I have a little bit of water already going. Now I'm gonna add some half and half. This, we gotta go low and slow. I have some processed cheese, all cubed up, and we're gonna bring this temperature up nice and easy so it doesn't break. We'll go in with a little bit of Worcestershire and just a little kiss of some Tabasco. It's not gonna be hot, but you get the idea. We need to just have a little bit of heat in there, okay? So we're gonna let this go low and slow. And as that processed cheese starts to melt a little bit, we're gonna add in some of my other favorite cheeses. You could go with a double boiler with this. I don't think it's necessary. If you just don't crank the heat, you won't burn it, you won't scorch it. Just take your time. Processed cheese starting to melt a little bit. Now we're gonna back it up with some real cheese. We're gonna get in some smoked Gouda. And again, we shred it really thin and give it a chance to melt nicely. We'll get in with some cheddar, shredded really finely. Whisk would also be a nice thing to do, but As always, I just have one utensil. If I could make this into a knife and a fork and a pair of tongs all at the same time, like a gigantic Swiss Army knife, tell you, I'd be going places. A little provolone. There we go. Now it's really starting to work for us. Beautiful. Now, one of the real keys to this cheese sauce is to hand shred it so you don't get that funky little dust that they put on the outside of the cheese to keep it from coagulating when it's inside the bag. I mean, I'll tell you one thing about buying cheese. Buy that whole block and shred it yourself. We'll just keep the cheese sauce warm. It's ready to go. Beautiful. Okay, next up, the burger. Now, what we have here is 80-20 ground beef. And when we're talking about making great burgers, if I'm getting everybody over and we're gonna do it, I would recommend going to the butcher and saying, grind me up a little bit of brisket, give me some short rib, and give me some chuck. If you're gonna do it right. We've got about a pound and a half here, so this should make us about 4 6-ounce patties. My favorite way to do it, just to make sure that we're keeping everybody even, because you know with 2 boys, if you don't make the patties even, someone's gonna be upset that someone got a bigger one. Okay, so we take the patty, we're gonna ball it up. Don't press it super hard. Now, I want you to just I want you to do this at home. I want you to just hit that salt all the way around. Roll that salt all the way around with your favorite kosher salt, and it's seasoned. No pepper, nothing else, just like this. I have my flat top over here, but since I know that you might not have one at home, I want to show you how to do this with a cast iron. If you don't have cast iron, I want you to go get one. Sporting goods stores have them galore. Go to Camp Chef, anybody's got them. But really good cast iron is the way to go, and we're gonna drop this down. There we go, that's what we're looking for, okay? Cold meat hot pan. While that's going, wash my hands real quick. Smash of the patty. Seasoned all the way around. One over the top. Sometimes you'll see people do it with a big hand press. That's what I'm looking for. And you only get to smash it once, folks. Brioche bun. Get a little bit of this garlic butter on there. As soon as we see some of the juice float to the top, we're gonna flip it and try to put it in another spot where it wasn't just exactly at. And that's what we're looking for, that nice crust, that Maillard effect on top. Smoky smells burgers. We're gonna treat both sides of the bun. Now, gotta get this working real quick. Gonna take some of the cheese sauce. This is a little hot, so it's gonna run a bit on us, but you'll get the general idea. When it cools down, it's a little bit easier to apply to it. We're gonna take the cheese sauce, throw it right up on top. Throw the cheese on top. Dome and some water. This steam is gonna help melt that cheese better than any salamander putting it under the broiler. So like this. This is just the exact way we do it in the restaurant. Guy's Kitchen and Bar, Guy's Burger Joint, you go on Carnival Cruise Lines, you watch what they're doing. This is exactly how it goes down. Okay? A little bit of the donkey sauce. Liberally, we call it coast to coast. Want to get that fat all the way across. Hit a few pickles right on the bottom. Pickles are key. Got to have that acid, got to have that tang. Really thin onions. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. That's melted cheese right on top of it. Thin sliced iceberg lettuce. A couple thin sliced tomatoes. Nice toasted brioche bun. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the burger. That cheeseburger right there, we won New York City Food and Wine Festival, Burger Bash. We've sold hundreds of thousands of these. But I want you to take a look at it. Juicy, scratch-made, handmade. My mouth is watering so bad. Are you ready? I gotta be honest with you. It's a simple burger. It's a simple recipe. You just gotta use great ingredients, and you gotta follow the rules. You're gonna serve it just like we do at the restaurant. I'm giving you all I got, folks. Hope you dig it. Go home and make it. I know you're gonna love it. See you next week. I'm gonna make a relish that's gonna go on this Danger Dog. What is a Danger Dog? What is a Danger Dog? I'm gonna stuff jalapenos inside of a hot dog and wrap it in bacon and then put this righteous relish on top of it. Say it, righteous relish. Okay, so here's what I did is I broke down half the pineapple, a little veg oil. This thing is smoking hot. Okay, on we go with the pineapple. Save a piece for me. Nice little grill marks, not looking to cook it. Just kind of put a little char to it. Take this big spoon. So I took the center seed out. I'm just gonna kind of get this right inside, twist it around, and this is super ripe. Pull all that flesh out. Let's get back to making the rest of this relish that's gonna go on top. So pickle relish, some jalapeno, little Fresno chili or red jalapeno. Fresno's a little bit spicier. Red onion, and some lemon juice, okay? Let's see what we're looking like here. Beautiful. So a little jalapeno. I like the Fresno. I want the heat. Get this jalapeno slices down. Okay. With that. Bowl. Now we'll get a little bit of lemon juice in there, a little acid from that. A little bit of olive oil. Touch of some salt and pepper. Go. A little bit of the relish. There we go. And a little lemon juice. Like this. A little squeeze, that's a little bit of acid there for it. Lime juice would work great too. You got onions, peppers, a little bit of relish, but to dial it down and calm it down. Kind of stuck mango. Took the core of this out, and that char is going to be perfect. Those are nice and soft. There we go. Okay. That in. This is some nice applewood smoked bacon, and it's super hot. Here's the jalapeno. I cut out the round a touch. I got a jalapeno strip, okay? So here's what's gonna happen. These are gonna cook, really just warm up, get all those flavors. We've got a hot dog, all beef dog, stuffed with jalapenos, wrapped in bacon, all put together. Check this out. We're gonna hit some mustard, this killer relish that I made starting off with some relish, some jalapenos, some red Fresno chilies, a little bit of grilled pineapple. Now we'll just hit some mustard on top, your favorite mustard. There's also a little grilled mango in there. Okay, look at this, huh? A little red onion. Now we'll get this delicious. Now this had a chance to kind of set up a little bit. Check out the beautiful colors on that. Right on top. So the Danger Dog has got the jalapeno in it, wrapped in the applewood smoked bacon, and then grilled off, kind of give it a chance to render down, kind of, you know, the dogs, you know, they come out of the package, they're kind of soft. This kind of toughens them up a little bit. So you got some great texture. Tell me that doesn't look awesome. Look at that bad boy. Just like I'm in the streets of Tijuana. It's everything. Spicy, salty, sweet. I mean, if you ever told me you could get umami in a dog, that is it. But that's the time of the year. Catfish sandwich with a Chipotle-Lime slaw. Now what's gonna happen is I'm gonna get some flour over here on the first one. A little bit of flour. And check it out, some chili powder. And this is gonna be the beginning dredge. This is what's gonna stick to the fish. A little chili powder and a little black pepper. Okay, this is what's gonna have first contact with the fish. Secondly, little whole grain mustard. And the whole grain mustard is gonna go with a little beer, a little nice rich beer. You get that really great mustard flavor. You get the richness of the beer. You get the tanginess of the mustard, the sweetness of the beer. All these things going on, killer. Watch this little trick. Right underneath the hand, boom, Yahtzee. Okay, there we go. A little dark beer in there on that. And then, to make this whole battering process go on, little panko breadcrumb here. Oh, good, I did have enough. Okay? And these, a Japanese breadcrumb, really light, crunchy, holds onto the fish really well. It doesn't get soggy, doesn't get matted and cakey. Okay, some granulated garlic. Some paprika. Wow, that's some good looking color on that, huh? I always keep some fresh ground black pepper off to the side. Nice helping of that. Some salt, and there we are. All three are ready to go. Look at the color coming out in that. That'll really shine nice. Okay, so we get all this separated. The star of the show, these beautiful catfish fillets, nice and tender but firm, not overly fishy in their taste. I think they go great in gumbo, jambalaya. It's gonna work fantastic in the sandwich on this nice Cuban roll. I mean, it's gonna be quite the presentation. So we get this. Let me mix this up. Okay. Dredge this through here. Like that. Here's my tray. Now into the beer, so the flour sticks to the fish. Now we get some of that great beer flavor and that mustard sticking to the flour, and then boom, into the panko, over the top like that. And I did not do my wet hand, dry hand, so as my son Hunter would say, I am now going to have Hulk fingers. They'll start building up. That's all right, I'm only doing 4 fillets. And what I'm gonna do is set them on this rack and let them dry out a little bit. And what happens, that helps the breadcrumbs adhere. And you see I'm really packing it on there, okay? This is gonna let the breadcrumbs adhere better, so when I fry it up, it's gonna give this nice, crunchy, stick-to-it kind of batter. Nobody flaking and falling off in this. Okay, some onions, red onions, some green onions, some red bells, some nice cabbage, and all this is gonna go together for this fantastic slaw that's gonna go on top of these catfish fillets that I have dredged in basically everything I have in the fridge and in the pantry. All right, get all this stuff done. There we go. Now this is gonna be the delicious Chipotle-Lime slaw, and this is going to marinate in the fridge for a little bit. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, I gotta get a little bit of cilantro down in there as well. Let me just get a little piece of this out. Just a touch. Now, the Chipotle pepper, of course, plays a nice piece in this, and you know on GBB that I love my Chipotle peppers, but especially because when I'm thinking about being down in La Manzanilla, you know, my chill spot just kind of goes hand in hand. Okay, some mayo, some sour cream, and some Chipotles in adobo. Oh, one of my favorite things ever. I'm not kidding you. You know, at Chipotle, being a smoked jalapeno pepper, they had to have a way to preserve the pepper back in the day, so they would smoke it, they would dry it out. Well, then they reconstitute it by making this adobo, which is kind of like a spicy vinegar sauce made with tomatoes, and oh, it's so dynamite. I mean, it just goes hand in hand with all kinds of great Mexican or Southwestern food. So 1/2 cup of the sour cream in my precise measuring techniques here on GBB. Okay, let me get you a little salt, actually a little pepper, a little salt. Chipotles are a little small on this one, so I'm just gonna kind of use 2 on this one. Chop it up. Want to get as much of that sauce in there as I can. Okay, and as I said, that adobo's got the tomato sauce and vinegar, a little bit of salt in there to kind of reconstitute them and preserve them. Okay, so that's in. Now, here we go. Microplane, take the zester, get some of the lime zest in there. Not going down too far, just getting the top piece there, and then taking it and getting the juice. The juice by itself just doesn't say lime enough. Now, I'm gonna put some lime juice, and I'm gonna put some white vinegar. And why the white vinegar? Well, you know, the vinegar kind of gives that real distinctive flavor and says, I am Slaw. And the lime juice has kind of the citrusy, acidic side to it. So, a couple tablespoons of that, and I think this will work out great. Okay, and before I go any farther, let me get a little bit of sugar in there too. Kind of bringing all the flavors together. Okay, so mix this up. Let this kind of hang out for a second, and then I'll pour it on top of that slaw mixture and pop that in the fridge. Cast iron skillet's ready to go, and we've only got about a 1/4 inch, a little bit more of oil in there, and these catfish fillets are ready to go downtown. Now these are gonna go down, I'm only gonna put 2 in at a time. Even though the cast iron really retains heat well, this is great for doing fried chicken, by the way, I don't wanna put too much in at one time, have them steam each other and lose some of the spreading. So in, nice and easy. Look at that, about halfway up. And another one. That's a hearty portion of catfish, I may say. Okay, so we'll let that bubble over like that. Let's take a minute here and turn these over and see if they're ready to go. I don't want to mess with them a lot. Actually, I don't want to use tongs. I want to use some kind of a spatula and see if this is ready to go over. I really want to make sure that the crust, the crunch is really set up on that other side. So let me take a look here. All right, that bad boy's ready to go over for sure. There we go. And over on this one, nice golden brown. Look at that. Little Cuban roll, toasted it there with some butter. Actually grabbed some of this slaw, throw that right on top. This Chipotle-Lime slaw that I made. Fantastic. Let me grab a cuchillo, look at that thing. And what we're gonna, look at this. I just gotta check it out. I wanna see what it looks like from the side here. It's enough to feed 3 people, just one sandwich. Take a look at that. Let me get into a bite of this. Wow. That is dynamite.